The competition safari at this event had over 90 entrants, the biggest entry for a safari for many years with the AWDC. Again, shape, size and finish of the vehicles entered for the race varied enormously. Buggies, 2- and 4-wheel drive vehicles and specials. Scrutineering was again strict as usual, with Roberto Aliperti missing nothing.
Horns, Oliver. Okay, start it up, Dave.
All the regulars turned out, Pat Willis, the Simonites, Colin Cowley and so on. In fact, the Parc Fermé resembled a car auction at times.
Don't make it look as if you know what you're doing.
In many cases, vehicles have been totally rebuilt during the actual course of a speed event. Lurking at the line, grinning magically, is Bruce Tigwell, number 2. Morning, Bruce. For some reason, Bruce happens to be running a Colt Shogun. Unfortunately, despite the club's Land Rover Range Rover bias, he's done rather well, which has put quite a few noses out of joint, as you can imagine. He's a bit of a pain, is Bruce, but a very good driver. He, in fact, is in Class B, which is 4-wheel drive with engine capacity of up to 3 litres. I'm told his engine is 2.5 litres. He's known in the club as a guy in the whole history of the universe never broke a major part. If you believe that, you'll believe pigs can fly. Brucey has been known to rebuild most of the vehicle from brand new spares direct from Japan, with asbestos gloves on occasions, but he does do rather well. That's Bruce Tigwell, number 2. We do need a help in the scoreboard tent and another pair of hands in the caravan, please. Start in 2 minutes, start in 2 minutes. Right, that's number 2, Bruce Tigwell away. Actually go under 7,000 RPM. One of our rather better range
As you heard, number 2 Bruce Tigwell was first away, followed by Pete Rowe, David Simonite, Pat Willis and Melanie Simonite, and the competition safari was off, with the cameraman, on this occasion David Fandango Roulson, taking a few more risks, nearly losing his toes on several occasions. A Range Rover driven by Graham Morby. Number 8, a Cowley Special driven by Colin Cowley. '53, a Range Rover, driver D. Johnson. Number 104, a Strange Rover Mark II, driven by Pete and Michael Taylor. '34, a Range Rover driven by Chaz Shooter. 188, a Chenoweth being driven by Dave Fisher and Keith Jackson. Number 76, a Land Rover Range Rover Special, driver Nick Southwood. 163, a Willis Jeep being driven by David Sandercock and Peter Birch. A Range Rover driven by Steve Gates. Six, a space frame buggy, Clive Goff and Mike Smith. With soft mud and concrete to contend with, this event was proving interesting, and after the first circuit, the slippery surface was improving very little. Andy Sargent was going very well in his two-wheel drive buggy, despite the conditions. After the first run, first, second and third places were held by Mitchell Harrison, Steve Easter and Pete Rowe, followed closely by Pat Willis and Melanie Simonite. 32, a Range Rover Special, driven by Paul Upsall. 144, V8 Indy Special, driven by Dave Hartley. Number 161, a Range Rover driven by Ian and Michael Watson. '61, a buggy driven by Jerry Smith. Number 21, a Range Rover Special, Richard Lloyd and Denise Cook. Number 13, Toyota Rover Buggy, Melanie Simonite. And number 12, a Range Rover driven by John Saxton. And so to the prize giving, when it was down to Keith Gott, the chairman of the All-Wheel Drive Club, to thank all those involved in helping set up all the courses for the weekend, and of course all the scrutineers, marshals and safari control operators. Also mentioned were the main sponsors, and then he handed over to Major David Davenport.
I would like to congratulate the All-Wheel Drive Club for what I think is a very professional job done by total amateurs, and it's absolutely brilliant. I enjoyed working with Stuart McCutcheon, with John Hilton, with Ian Brandt, with Roger Madge, with Joe Darby, and I think there's somebody else that he's worked with. Oh, Chris Postle, absolutely. And so I really enjoyed that. I made a lot of new friends, and I know that a lot of you will have made new friends. So I think that I've probably said enough, but thank you all for coming, and I'm glad you've had a happy time. We'd like to, first of all, issue a very, very big round of applause, I think, to Monroe. I think those prizes are absolutely superb. Third overall, at a time of 23 minutes, 23 seconds, from Yorkshire, Chris Marlowe. Well done, Chris.
Congratulations. It's a bit heavy, so watch it.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Second overall, a time of 22 minutes, 43 seconds, from Somerset, Big Grove. For those of you who don't know, I mean most of us do, the vehicle that Peter came second in, the one that's fitted with the rather large Chevy engine, he drives it back, he drives it to every event and drives it home again. It's a road taxed vehicle. First overall, up until the last lap, Peter was leading by 4 seconds. The man who actually came first put in a blind of the last lap, did 9 seconds, 7 seconds faster, and actually beat Pete by 3 seconds. Time of 22 minutes, 40 seconds. First overall, his wife's split class leaders. He seems to be making overall first is Dave Simonite. Yes, Dave would like to say a few words.
It's like all the people for the All-Wheel Drive Club made this event possible this weekend. I think everybody's done a really cracking job. I'm really pleased with them.